and give,
Given.
go,
Gone.
gone, yeah. Eat,
Eaten.
know,
Known.
Add.
known, right. Meet,
Met.
move,
Mood.
work,
Work.
right?
Written.
Okay. Let's go to the grammar part now. So present perfect. Yani hozirgi tugallangan zaman. So present perfect qanday yasaladi? Have, has, qo'shuv, ed yoki fe'l noto'g'ri fe'llar qatorining uchinchisi. Hozir ko'rgan live, lived yoki wrote, write, wrote, written, gone, eaten kabi uchinchi qator fe'llari bilan yasaladi. 158 betda noto'g'ri fe'llar jadvali bor. O'shani tashlayman. Noto'g'ri fe'llar jadvalini yodlamaganlar yodlaydi yoki chalasi borlar chalasini yodlab qo'yadi. All right. And positive and negative gaplar. I have won a competition. Men musobaqani yutganman. Have qisqartirib v ni o'zi qoladi. I've won, you've won, they've won a competition. Inkor esa not bilan yasaladi. I have not won a competition yoki have not qisqartmasi I haven't won a competition. You haven't won a competition. He, she, it doimgidek have emas has ni oladi. Va uni inkori ham has not. He hasn't won a competition qisqartmasi. She hasn't won a competition. So'roq yasashda esa yana modal fe'l have boshiga keladi. Have I been to the United States? Have you been to the United States? AQShda bo'lganmisan? Has she been to the United States? U AQShda bo'lganmi? Yes, no questions. Yes, no answerga have you been to Las Vegas? Yes, I have. Ya'ni savolda yordamchi so'z nima bo'lsa, have bo'ldi bu yerda. Javobda ham shu bo'ladi. Present simple'da do edi. Continuous'da to be edi. Bunda esa have. Have you been to Las Vegas? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Has she ever written a novel? U hech novella yozganmi, roman yozganmi? Yes, she has. Or no, she hasn't. Eslab qolinglar. We cannot use I've, they've, he's, etc. in short answers. Ya'ni qisqartmalarni javobda ayta olmaymiz. Yes, I've emas. Yes, I have. Yes, we have. Deb javobda to'liq javob berish kerak. Ishlatilishi. Present perfect harakat yoki holat o'tmishda boshlangan va hozirda ham davom etyapti. Lekin davomli emas, yapti emas. Masalan, I've known John for 6 years. Johnni 6 yildan beri bilaman. Bundan keyin ham bilaman. So, bizga boshlanish nuqtasini ko'rsatib bera xolos. I've known John for 6 years. How long have you worked for the London Gazette? London gazetasi uchun qancha ishlagansan? He's still working, ya'ni hozir ham u ishlayapti. Lekin biz present perfect ishlatdik, sababi ish hali davom etmoqda. Agar o'tgan zamonda bersak, ishlagansan bo'lsa, how long did you work bo'lsa, gapdan tushunardiki, u ish tugagan, boshqa ishga o'tib ketgan. So how long did you work in the factory? So you can say, I worked in the factory for 2 years, then I moved to another factory, that kind of stuff. Demak, present past simple qo'llasak bu yerda o'sha harakat to'xtab, yangi harakatga o'tilgan. Agar present perfect bo'lsa, o'sha harakat boshlangan va hali ham davom etmoqda. And the time expressions, ya'ni vaqt ifodalari bor. O'shalar maxsus present perfect keladi. Present past simple deki nima edi? Time expressions. What was the time expressions for past simple?
Ago,
Yeah.
Last.
Ago, last,
Yesterday.
yesterday, in yillar, years, in 2009, that kind of stuff. That's all. In the present perfect uchun esa sanoqli. For davomida, nechidir yil davomida, yoki hafta, yoki oy. Fordan keyin raqam keladi ko'pincha, raqamdan keyin esa vaqt so'zi, ya'ni yil, hafta yoki kun. For example, I've known John for 6 years. You can also say I've known John for 6 weeks, for 6 months, and for ages. For ages degan anchadan beri. And or for 2 days. 2 kundan beri. And how long have you worked for the London Gazette? The same. Sorry. Beyond the Amazon worker. Demek, forni period of time, vaqt davomiyligida, since esa the point of time, vaqt nuqtasidan. Ya'ni for shuncha paytda davom etayotgani, since esa ma'lum bir nuqtadan davom etib kelayotgani. For example, we've lived here for 3 years, a period of time. Demak, for 3 years. Bu yerda 3 yil davomida yashaganmiz. This is the period. And they've lived here since 2010. Okay. They've lived here since 2010. Boshlanish nuqtasi mana 2010. Demak bizga aniq. Ana for 3 years da aniq emas. Farq shunda. For bilan since. Demak, bu yerda 2010-yildan beri yashayapmiz yoki bu yerda 3 yildan beri yashayapmiz. You see the difference? For and since. For and since faqat present perfect'da keladi. And it's very useful, like kind of tense in English. In many languages, this use is expressed by a present tense, but in English we say, Peter has been a teacher for 10 years. Masalan, boshqa tillarda deyapti, present tense bilan, ya'ni Peter is a teacher for 10 years bo'lishi mumkin. In Uzbek also, Peter 10 yildan beri o'qituvchi. Lekin mana bu yerda ularda present perfect ishlatiladi. Peter has been a teacher for 10 years. 10 yildan beri o'qituvchilik qilib keladi. Bu yerda bizda o'zbek tilida tarjimaga qaranglar. Bu yerda o'tgan zamon yo'qdi o'zbekchasida. Lekin inglizchada bor. Shunaqa bo'lishi kerak. Mana bunaqa deyapti. Do not say Peter is a teacher for 10 years. Net disconnection. Shu joygacha tushundilaringmi? Eshitildimi?
Yes.
And the present perfect connects the present and the past. O'tmish va hozirgini bog'laydi. Present perfect yana. Ikkinchi ishlatilishi. It express experience in life before now. Hozirdan oldin bo'lgan har qanaqa tajriba, hayotda bo'lgan narsalarni ifodalaydi. Ya'ni hayotingda bir martaba degan shunaqa narsalar. For example, I've met a lot of famous people before now. Hozirdan oldin men ko'p mashhur odamlarni uchratganman. If you say I met a famous people, men bir mashhur odamni uchratdim. Kim bu yerda when did you meet deyish kerakda. Chunki agar past simple bo'lsa, aniq bir narsaga aniq qilyapti, ishora qilyapti. Lekin present perfect general, umumiy. I've met a lot of famous people. And she has won a lot of awards in her life. I've traveled a lot in Africa in my life. She's written 3 books up to now. Hozirgacha, up to now. Biz o'tmishda boshlanib hozirda davom etayotganini o'tdiga. Lekin the action can continue to the present and probably into the future. Ya'ni action hozirgacha va ehtimol bilan kelajakkacha ham davom etishi mumkin. He's made 6 TV programs. So far, he'll probably make more. Oltita TV program yasadi. Lekin yana yasash ehtimoli bor. Demak, for since notdik, ever and never are common with this use. Ever bilan never eng ko'p ishlatiladi bu zamonda. For example, ya'ni mana bunga ishora qiladi. Hech yoki hech qachon hayotingda o'tgan narsalar. Masalan, I'm sorry, yeah. Have you ever been to Africa? I've never played poker. This is about past experience. Mana bu yerda o'tganimiz. O'tmishdagi tajribalar. Buni ifodalash uchun ever, hech, never, hech qachon. Hech, umringda hech demak deb tarjima qilamiz. Have you ever? Have you ever been to Africa? Have you ever had an alcohol? That kind of. Va nihoyat 3. The present perfect expresses past action with results in the present. It's often a recent past action. Demak, present perfect o'tmishdagisi harakat, hozirga ham ta'siri bor. Shuning uchun perfect ishlatamiz deyapti. I've lost my wallet. Men ham yonimni yo'qotib qo'ydim, lekin hozir o'zimda yo'q. I haven't got it now. The taxi's arrived. Mashina yetib keldi. It's outside the door now. Has the postman been? Is there a parcel for me? Pochtachi bo'ldimi? Menga yuk tashlab ketdimi? Ya'ni qisqa qilib aytganda qaynoq o'tgan zamonda, hozirgina bo'lgan o'tgan zamonlarga present perfect ifodalash uchun. For example, she's just come and couldn't find you. Birinchisi present perfect ishlatildi, ikkinchisida past simple. She's just come but couldn't find you. Hozirgina keldi, lekin seni topa olmadi. Demak, just and already, yet yana present perfect eng ko'p ishlatiladi. Yet is used in questions and negatives. Yet so'roq va inkorda. Faqat so'roq va inkorda. I've lost my hour here. She's just is a bo'lishli gapda. Already ham bo'lishli gapda. She's just had some good news. Hozirgina senga u yaxshi xabar olib keldi. I've already had breakfast. Has the postman been yet? And it's 11 and she hasn't got up yet. So kelinglarchi ana sorry. Common expressionslar sanaylikchi. Present perfect ishlatiladigan. For,
Just,
yana
for,
qaysilar edi?
since,
Already, never, ever.
Yet. Just.
Yeah. For, since,
since,
Since.
never, ever, yet, just, already, right?
Yeah.
What else? That's all. Demak, bu yerda faqat yetni ishlatishni bilsa bo'ldi. When do we use the yet?
Oxirida ishlatiladi.
negative, and
Negative bilan question.
Excellent. Gap oxirida negative and questions. Lekin savol bo'lishli bo'lishi ham mumkin. Have you finished yet? Like, the postman been here yet? Deyapti-yu. Let's compare. Present simple dan farqi nima? Last but not least, present perfect and past simple. Mana bu ikkita misolni solishtirib ko'ramiz. Let's read and compare to these examples. I lived in Paris for 2 years, from 2007 to 2009. The action is finished. Ikkinchisi esa, I've lived in London since 2009. I still do. The action is not finished. So what's the difference?
Birinchisida tugallagan, ikkinchisida davom etadi.
Yeah. Bu aytganimizda hozirgacha ham davom etayotgan o'tmish bo'lsa, since present perfect edi. Bunda esa past simple, it's just past, o'tib ketgan. O'sha farq. I've been to Scotland. I went with my husband 2 years ago. Ikkalasida farq nima? Birinchisida, ya'ni experience, bu aytganimizdek, hayotda hech bo'lgan narsalar. So I've been to Scotland. Bo'lgan, men umrimda bo'lsa ham demoqchi. And I went with my husband 2 years ago at definite time. Ya'ni aniq bir vaqt, o'tmishdagi. Demak, vaqt keldimi? Demak, present perfectni ishlata olmaymiz. Always past. Endi vaqt qaysiligiga bog'liq. Bu aytganimizdek, last, ago, in 2000, this kind of stuff. But mana bu expressionlar bilan doim perfect kelaveradi. And have you ever flown in a helicopter? Yes, I have. That's life experience. And where did you fly? Demak, dialog boshlanganda birinchi eslatib qo'ysa, ya'ni general idea, keyingilarni present simple da past simple da bersa bo'ladi. Masalan, have you ever flown in a helicopter? Yes, I have. Where did you fly? I flew over New York. When did you fly? With whom did you fly? Qolgani pastda davom etyapti, ko'rsangiz. Demak, birinchisi general idea beradi. And what happened? I dropped them. This kind of stuff. Va mana bu iboralar, common expressions, time expressions used with past simple and the present perfect. For example, last week, yesterday, the day before yesterday, o'tgan kuni. The day before yesterday o'rniga the other day ishlatiladi yana. Ya'ni boshqa kun emas, o'tgan kuni bilan. The other day. For example, I saw John the other day. O'tgan kuni Johnni ko'rdim. British ko'pincha ishlatadi. Og'zaki nuqta, nutqda. So in 1999, on July 21st, 3 months ago, for 2 weeks, but now ended. For 2 weeks, qaranglar, and continues. Demak, ikkalasini ishlatsa bo'lar ekan, for 2 weeks ikkita zamonda, lekin ma'no birida tugadi, birida davom etyapti. Agar ma'no tugaganini bildirmoqchi bo'lsak, past simple, hali davom etayotganini bildirmoqchi bo'lsak, present perfect. For example, I lived in New York for 2 weeks. So that's finished. But I've lived in New York for 2 weeks. Hali davom etyapti. 2 haftadan beri yashayapman. And expressions like since Monday, ever, never, just, already, yet, and for is very common with present simple.
I have a question.
Okay.
Bo'ldi. Birinchisida qarang, I lived in Paris degani bor-ku. I had been living in Paris for 2 years deb bera olmaydingiz.
I've been living.
I had been living in Paris for 2 years.
Had demoqchimiz. Past
Had
perfect.
living. Past perfect continuous deb bera olmaymiz.
No. Past ishlatilishi uchun bir harakatdan oldingi harakat. Bilasizlar qoidasi. Bu yerda hozir bitta harakatni beryapmiz hozir. Present perfect bitta harakat. Qachon ishlatsa bo'ladi? I have been living ko'p ishlatiladi, lekin u present perfect continuous bo'ladi. Men shuncha yildan beri yashab kelyapman. Lekin present perfect ni o'zi ham continuous actionni beradi. Bir vaqtda boshlangan, hali ham davom etayotgan.
Okay.
12-mavzularda menimcha present perfect continuouslarga kelamiz. Hozir muhim mana buni bilib olish. Demak, present simple, past simple, present perfect and future going to, ing and will eng ko'p ishlatiladi ingliz tilida. Asos. Demak, buni bilib olgandan keyin qolgan 4 ta zamondan yana 16 ta 4 ga ko'paytirib zamon yasab tashlashimiz mumkin.
Okay.
That's all. Let's go back to the main lesson. Any questions about present perfect?
No question.
Nice. Mana bu ikki vazifa bo'lganmidi?
No.
Men birinchi bajargandik. I think it was home task. Okay.
We had home
house
task.
with-
How it's the news? You have sent 9 babies about.
Yes. Oh yeah, 9 babies. Have you watched?
Yes.
That's awesome,
Yes.
isn't it? A child gave birth, a woman gave birth to 9 children. So, where did it happen? Do you know that?
In Morocco?
I think in Mali, right?
Mali, yes. She's
Mali.
from Mali.
And do you know the last record was how many babies?
9.
9.
9, yeah.
No, this is the record so far with 9. But the last record was about 6, I think, in France. Uzbekistan ham bo'ldi. How many? 3, 4?
5.
5, I think.
5.
Okay. Bizda ham qolishmaydi. Nice. Look at the pictures and listen and read about John and answer questions. Oh, 7.1. Where is it?
Hoffman, archaeologist.
7.6.
Frieda Hoffman, archaeologist and writer.
Unit 7, Tape Script 7.1. John.
Hi, I'm John. I live in London. I have a flat in Dean Street, Soho. I've lived here for 3 years. I'm a press photographer. I've worked for the London Gazette since 2010. My wife's name is Faye. We've been married for 2 years. We met at university. Faye's a receptionist at the Ritz Hotel. I get around town on a motorbike. I've had it since I was 25. Faye goes by bus. We don't have any children yet.
Okay. Where does he live?
In London.
He lives in London.
And what's his job?
Press photographer.
Photographer.
Press photographer.
And where did he meet his wife?
At university.
Lucky, huh? And does he have any children?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
They don't have any children yet.
Okay. Now this John has a flat in London. Is he in London? Yes, in London. But his flat is very famous, the flat. So read about John's flat. Why is it famous? Who lived there and when? What tense are the verbs in bold? Keyin matndagi fe'llar qaysi zamonda ishlatilganiga pay attention deyapti. Here. So we have Indira, you can read the text to us with very beautiful kind of reading.
John's flat is famous. Karl Marx, the German philosopher and historian, lived there for 5 years in the 19th century. He moved to London in 1849 and worked as a foreign correspondent for an American newspaper. He wrote for the New York Daily Tribune. He was married to Jenny von Westphalen for 38 years. They had 7 children.
Now John, so why is it famous? You know that? The flat where John lives.
Because
Karl Marx lived his flat.
yes,
Yeah,
he was
the very
philosopher and
famous
historian.
philosopher,
Yes.
historian, Karl
Of course,
Marx.
he's very famous.
Why is he famous? You know that?
Because she was philosopher and historian.
Excellent. And he also founded the Soviet Union, communism.
Kommunizm. Qanaqadir o'sha g'oyani ilgari surganda, kommunizmmidi?
Communism ilgari surgan, utopia. Everybody should be equal degan, no monopoly. In some way, they're right, but in some way, they're not.
Yeah.
But what they wanted is utopia in English called. Look at this example. Mana bu savollar John haqidami yoki Karl Marx? How long
Both of them.
has he lived in flat? This is about John. How long did he live in the flat?
Bu Karl Marx.
Karl Marx. Where does he work?
John,
Yes. And how long has she worked there?
John.
John.
And what was his job in London?
Karl Marx.
Yes, Karl
John
Marx,
must be.
because past simple.
Karl.
And which newspaper did he write for?
Karl Marx.
Carl.
Karl Marx about history bo'lganligi uchun, if you
Mhm.
pay attention, it's past simple ishlatilgan. How long has he been married?
John.
John. Has been means haliyam davom etyapti degani. Demak, John haliyam tirik. Karl Marx already died. So, and how long was he married?
Karl Marx.
That's Karl Marx. And now look at the tenses. I've lived, I've worked, we've been, I've had. Mostly past, present perfect ishlatilgan. And how about Karl Marx? Like lived, moved, walked, wrote, was, and had. Mostly past simple because it's already finished. He is already finished. Lekin Johnniki hayot hali tugamadi. That's why we use it this tense. Nothing left. 4. Let's listen to the answers for the
Point
question.
2. Questions and answers. 1.
How long has he lived in the flat?
John has lived in the flat for 3 years.
2.
How long did he live in the flat?
Karl Marx lived in the flat for 5 years.
3.
Where does he work?
John works for the London Gazette.
4.
How long has he worked there?
John has worked there since 2010.
5.
What was his job in London?
Karl Marx was a foreign correspondent for an American newspaper.
6.
Which newspaper did he write for?
Karl Marx wrote for the New York Daily Tribune.
7.
How long has he been married?
John has been married for 2 years.
8.
How long was he married?
Karl Marx was married for 38 years.
All right. Demek 7.1 is foreshadowing, guys.
Mhm.
I hope you will make a great shadowing and test the speaking in jo'natinglar. Chunki 100 balldan baho qo'yamanda. Hammasi ichiga olingan. 100 balldan chiqish kerak. Hozir speaking siz bo'lsa 20 balli kesib tashlashga to'g'ri keladi. Let's make it perfect. So hozircha Mohlaroy, Asliddin and Zarfon Bro has sent.
I sent today evening.
Yeah, I know. And
I will send a little bit later.
it's okay. But send it as early as possible. Chunki uyga vazifani ko'payib ketadi.
Okay.
Keyin savol bor edi. Speakingda o'sha savollarga partnyoringiz bilan qiling degan. O'zimiz o'qib javob beraveramizmi? Audio qilib jo'natamizmi?
Diktafonga yozib jo'natavering.
Hop. Okay.
Nice. Let's practice. Here are some time expressions. And we should use for or since. Complete the time expressions with for since.
Okay.
Let's do it. Half an hour. For us since.
For half an hour.
For half an hour. For example, I've waited for you
Science.
half an hour.
Since.
Since 2001.
Since I was.
Since.
Yeah, since I was. For example, since 2001, American troops are present in Afghanistan. Afg'onistonda Amerika askarlari 2001-yildan beri bor. Desak, and a long time.
For
a long time.
For
a long
10 o'clock.
For
Since
10 o'clock.
Since 10 o'clock.
Why not 4?
Exact time here.
Yeah. Agar Mohlaroy, agar 4 ni ishlatmoqchi bo'lsak, mana bu yerda hour bo'lish kerak. For 10 hours, not the clock. Okay?
Okay.
So that's why bu aniq boshlanish nuqtasi. Shuning uchun. Agar for 2 hours desak, boshlanish nuqtasi aniq emas. Davom etdik aniq. Farq shunda. And 3 months.
For
3 months.
Excellent. And October.
Since October.
Since October. Last Tuesday.
Since.
Last Tuesday.
A couple of weeks.
For a couple
of weeks. So we have no problem with this. Oh, there is a lot. We should match the lines A with the line B. Let me show you the easy way. Let's listen and do it. Because let's do something. One by one. We have about 7 people. 6 people. Bir bajarib ko'raylikchi. Bittadan ko'p variant tushishi mumkin. Zarfxon bro. Qolganlar tayyor tursin keyingilarga. I've known John.
I have known John. I've known John since 2008. We met at university.
Perfect. Aslidan?
I last went to the cinema 2 weeks ago.
Yes. What is it?
I had a great time there.
Yeah. If you paid attention, past simple only. Keyin qaranglar. Last. Qanaqa ishlatilishiga e'tibor beringlar. Men oxirgi marta demoqchi bo'lsalaring, I last went to the cinema. When did you last go to the cinema? When did you last? Or I last went to the cinema. Men oxirgi marta. That's very useful expression. Indira.
I've had this watch for ages, maybe.
Anchadan beri. Age degani asr. Anchadan beri. Endi uzoq vaqtdan nazar tutsa. So I've had this watch for ages.
My grandpa gave it to me.
Good answer. Elior bro?
I live it in New York from 205 to 207. We went to Spain.
No, you lived in New York between these years, but you went to Spain. I think you should change. Then we went to Spain. Yes, possible. And we have last who?
I've lived in this house for 3 years.
Okay.
It's got a beautiful garden.
I lived in this house for 3 years. Oh, sorry. Where is for 3 years? Who's next? It's got a beautiful count. 6. Indira, you can start from.
We last had a holiday 2 years ago. Maybe what have you been up to? What it means?
What have you been up to? What is that?
What have you been up to?
Nima yangilik demoqchi bu yerda.
Okay.
Went to Spain also.
Mhm.
For example, we last had a holiday 2 years ago. We went to Spain.
Okay.
I haven't seen you. Hamma birgalikda bajaramiz.
For 3 years, what have you been up to?
I haven't seen you. Oh, that's the answer. Good job, Asoliy. And you can also say for 3 years. You can also say for ages. Also since 2008. But mana bu yerda esa up to ko'pincha moscha. What have you been up to? Nimalar bo'ldi? Nima yangiliklar? Up to degani hozirgacha. And we haven't had a break. Tanaffus ham qilmadik.
For our
For over an hour.
I really need a coffee.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where is my recordings? 7.3. Let's check it. It may be different, but
7.3. For or since. 1.
I've known John for 3 years. We met at university.
2.
I last went to the cinema 2 weeks ago. The film was really boring.
3.
I've had this watch since I was a child. My grandpa gave it to me.
4.
I lived in New York from 2005 to 2007. I had a great time there.
5.
I've lived in this house since 2008. It's got a beautiful garden.
6.
We last had a holiday 2 years ago. We went to Spain.
7.
I haven't seen you for ages. What have you been up to?
8.
We haven't had a break for over an hour. I really need a coffee.
Now asking questions. Savollarga zamon qo'yib chiqaylikchi. Where do you live? That's present simple. In a flat near the town center. How long?
How long have you lived there?
How long have you lived there? For 3 years.
For 3 years.
Why?
Why did you move?
Yeah, why did you move? Because we want to be in a nice area. Let Indira and Asoliy practice this.
Where do you live, Susan?
In house near the near house in city in the center of the city. Voy nima?
It's okay.
Anaqa o'zim anaqa qilmayapman.
Just in a flat near the town center.
No, in house in the center of the city. Oh, bo'ldi.
Okay.
Good job.
How long have you lived there?
For 8 years.
Why did you move there?
Because we want live in the city.
Okay, very nice. Siz o'zingizga yaxshi moslab oldingiz, right? Good. Men o'zini o'qiyapsizmi deyman. Flat qanaqasiga house ko'rinyapti bu kishiga deb.
Anaqa boshimdan anaqa qilolmayapman, javob bera olmayapman.
Aha. Va shunchaki o'qing degandik. It's okay. Okay. Zarifxon bro and Ozoda, I think, can make this conversation. Are you here?
Yeah.
So A is Zarifxon bro, B is Ozoda. You can continue the conversation like keyin eshitib tekshirib ko'ramiz. Qani ular qanaqa bajaradi. Masalan, nima qilasan? O'sha yerda ishlayman. Davom etib ketaveradi suhbat. Azimxon, Zarifxon bro, you can start.
Okay. What do you do, Ozoda?
I work at Islamic University.
Oh, really? How long have you worked there?
For 5 years.
What did you do before that?
I worked at Uzbekistan State World Language University.
Oh, at my university. That's good. That's the first conversation. Perfect. Did you really work at Uzbekistan State World Language University?
No.
Okay. And we have the second conversation with, let me choose Elior bro and Mohlaroy, if you can.
Do you know Dave Brown?
Do you know Dave Brown, Mohlaroy?
Yes, I know.
How long have you known it?
Have you known?
Have you known?
For 1 year.
For a year.
Where did you meet him?
At school. We meet at school.
We met at school.
We met at school.
E'tibor bergan bo'lsalaring, suhbatni boshini boshlashda present perfectdan general idea olamiz u, qolganini chuqurlashtirib past simple'da ketkisak bo'lar ekan. Aslidan, you didn't do this, right? We have Aslidan.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make a conversation with you.
With whom?
And
Me.
I also.
Okay, who wants? Indira?
Yes.
You can make a conversation. Anything. Just start with present perfect, then go to details.
Okay.
Which conversation?
Just make it. O'zlaringdan to'qinglarchi.
What do you do, Indira?
I'm practicing my English.
How long have you practiced it?
For 4 years.
What did you have the breakfast?
I had fried eggs and a little bit bread.
It's nice.
Cool. All right, guys, let's listen what the example says.
Tape script 7.4. Asking questions. Tape script 7.5. 1.
What do you do?
I work for an international company.
How long have you worked there?
For 2 years.
What did you do before that?
I worked for a charity. 2.
Do you know Dave Brown?
Yes, I do.
How long have you known him?
For 5 or 6 years.
Where did you meet him?
We were at university together.
An archaeologist. Present perfect, ever and never. Now look at the photos of Frida Hoffman and read the introduction. What's her nationality? Which countries has she been to? What are her passions? Aslan, can you read the text without to us?
Frida Hoffman was born in Germany, but she has lived most of her life abroad. She has a passion for history and ancient civilizations. Her greatest love is Africa, and she has written several books about ancient Egypt.
Okay, what is ancient? This is ancient, okay, ancient. What's ancient?
Old.
Yeah, old or something related to history, historical you can say. So what's her nationality?
German, I think.
Germany. German.
Which countries has she been to?
Africa.
Africa, Asia also. And what are her passions?
History and ancient
Or
civilizations.
history inside civilizations.
Yeah, ancient civilization.
Civilizations.
Nice. Here is the interview with her. And we should put the questions. Let me make the screen bigger for you. Oh, there are lots of questions. So, is that clear? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Agar ko'rmayotgan telefondagilar ekranni kattalashtirsa bo'ladi. Qo'l bilan. You can drag the screen with 2 fingers and it becomes bigger. All right, let's put the questions to the text. Yeah. For example, oh, don't go. Frida, you've traveled a lot in your lifetime. Which countries have you been to? Indira, you can read.
Well, I've been to a lot of countries in Africa and Asia, but I've never been to South Africa. When did you first go abroad? When I was 6, my family moved to England. Why did you move there?
Why did you move there? Mahlaro, you can continue. Because? Mahlaro, because?
Because.
Okay.
Because my father got a job as professor of history at Cambridge University.
How are you?
Which question can we ask here? something in archaeology. Demak javobga qaraymiz. When I was 10 was an exhibition of Tutankhamun, the Egyptian king in London. My father took me to see it.
Have you ever discovered anything?
Yeah.
Have you always
No. Have you always been interested in archaeology?
Yes.
Oh, yes, one. That's one. Where is it?
First one.
Oh, they were the first one.
Yeah. Have you always been interested in archaeology? Archaeology. Aslidan, you can read.
Yes, I have. When I was 10, there was an exhibition of Tutankhamun, the Egyptian king, in London. My father took me to see it, and I was fascinated. After that, I knew that I wanted to go to Egypt and be an archaeologist. How many times have you been to Egypt?
How many times have you been to Egypt? Zarfomro, you will continue.
20 times at least. I go as often as I can. And it's not visible. Ko'rmayapti past. Yeah.
For example, here says, yes, I've made some very important discoveries. So it's asking about discoveries.
Have you ever discovered anything?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Have you ever discovered anything?
Yes. Read. Yes.
Yes, I've made some very important discoveries. I was a leader of a team that discovered some ancient tombs near Cairo. You have written books about Egypt, haven't you?
Azada, you've written books about Egypt, haven't you?
I've written three.
Well, question first. I think yeah, right?
Have you ever
How many books have you written?
How many books have you written?
I've written 3 books, the prose, and I've written a book about the journey I made from Cairo and Hilton.
Taxmin qilib ko'ringlar-chi, siz ham qanaqa savol mos tushadi? By train, by car?
And how did you travel?
There.
How did you travel?
How did you travel?
How did you travel?
Oh, here. Yes. How did you travel? How did you travel? By train, by car? Mahleroy?
In a Land Rover, of course.
Indira?
In all your travels, savol ko'rinmayapti.
In all your travels, birinchi savolga qaraylik. Been in danger in situations like...
Being in dangerous situation.
Have you ever been in a dangerous situation?
Demak, in all your travels, have you ever been in any dangerous situations?
Oh goodness, yes. I've often been in danger, but it's in situations like that you learn so much about yourself.
All right. Let's listen and listen to
Script 7.6.
interview.
Frieda Hoffmann, archaeologist and writer.
Frieda Hoffmann was born in Germany, but she has lived most of her life abroad. She has a passion for history and ancient civilizations. Her greatest love is Africa, and she has written several books about ancient Egypt. Frieda, you've travelled a lot in your lifetime. Which countries have you been to?
Well, I've been to a lot of countries in Africa and Asia, but I've never been to South America.
When did you first go abroad?
When I was 6, my family moved to England.
Why did you move there?
Because my father got a job as Professor of History at Cambridge University.
Have you always been interested in archaeology?
Yes, I have. When I was 10, there was an exhibition of Tutankhamun, the Egyptian king, in London. My father took me to see it and I was fascinated. After that, I knew that I wanted to go to Egypt and be an archaeologist.
How many times have you been to Egypt?
20 times at least. I go as often as I can.
Have you ever discovered anything?
Yes, I've made some very important discoveries. I was the leader of a team that discovered some ancient tombs near Cairo.
You've written books about Egypt, haven't you? How many books have you written?
I've written 3 about the pharaohs, and I've written a book about a journey I made from Cairo to Cape Town.
How did you travel? By train? By car?
In a Land Rover, of course.
In all your travels, have you ever been in any dangerous situations?
Oh, goodness, yes. I've often been in danger. But in situations like that, you learn so much about yourself.
Nice. And we have last page to practice. But here's also a little extract. We can make questions from here. 1. For example,
Have
which
you ever
countries
been?
have you been to? She's been to Egypt, Algeria, Kenya, South Africa, and China. Have you? Has
Have you
she?
ever been South
Has she?
Africa, America?
Has she ever been to South America? Has she ever been to South America?
No, she hasn't.
Mm. When?
When did she move to England?
Mm.
When
When
she
did
was
move?
6.
Yeah, when I was 6, my family moved to England today. Good memory. Kim aytgan bo'lsa ham xotirasi kuchli ekan.
Men
And where?
aytdim.
India, good job. Where?
At university.
No,
Cambridge
the
When
University.
did your father
When did her father get a job? When did he get a
When
job?
did she see?
With her father. Because my father got a job as a professor of history at Cambridge University. Depth. Where depth? At Cambridge University.
When, yes. Cambridge University.
When
Did she
see the Tutankhamun exhibition?
She saw when she was 10 years old.
Yeah, here. When she was 10 years old, she saw the Tutankhamun exhibition. How many times
have you been?
Have you been in Egypt?
Have you been to Egypt? Has she been to Egypt?
No. How many times?
At least 20.
How many times has she been to Egypt? There, 20 times at least. As I go as often as I can. And how many books?
How many,
Has she read?
how
Has
many
she
books
read?
has she written?
Has she read?
So she's written 3 books about.
She has written a book.
And she's written a book about a journey
I made from Cairo, Cape Town.
Okay. New Headway videolarni hamma ochib olganmi? And you can watch
Videosi menda ochmayapti.
Menda ham ochmayapti.
zip birinchi jo'natgan 600 megabaytli zip bor-ku, zip papka. O'shani ichida bor. O'shanda izlash kerak.
Shu videolarni o'chirib tashlamagansiz-mi? Topolmadim-da gruppada.
Yaqinda jo'natganimni o'chirdim chunki ochmadi. Lekin eslasam zip qilib jo'natgan ekanman oldin. Bunisi ham mayli agar zip qilib jo'nataman agar topmagan bo'lsam.
Menga o'sha birinchisida ham zip bo'lganda ham ochmadi lekin nimaga bilmadim.
Menda ham shunaqa bo'ldi, ochma. Faqat ovozi kelyapti.
Ha, ko'plar shunaqa deydi, lekin menda ochdi. Let me check again later. Demak, 7-chisi tarix haqida-da videosi. Har bir video 10 minutlik bo'ladi. Dars haqida bo'ladi hammasi. Practice the present perfect or past simple. We'll listen and complete. Oh. What is wrong? Listen and complete with some lines from an interview with Frida. Let's just listen.
Tape script 7.7. 1.
You moved to England when you were 6. Do you go back to Germany much?
No, I don't. I've been back a few times to visit relatives, but I've never lived there again. I feel more English than German now.
2.
What did you study at university?
I studied ancient history at Cambridge.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. The course was amazing, and Cambridge was a great place to live.
3.
Have you ever had an ordinary job?
Of course I have. I've done all sorts of things. After university, I didn't have any money.
So what did you do?
I worked in a restaurant. I hated it.
Why didn't you like it?
Because the hours were so long, and the people I was working with were horrible.
4.
You said you've often been in danger. What's the most dangerous situation you've ever been in?
Well, I had a very bad car crash in Cairo. I was seriously injured and broke several bones. I spent 3 months in hospital. I was very lucky. I nearly died.
Demak, this interview is also for shadowing, but for girls.
7.6.
Frida Hoffman, archaeologist and writer.
Demak, qizlar Frida Hoffman haqida faqat savoliga javob berasizlar. For example, u savolni o'qiydi, sizlar savolni shadow qilmaysizlar, javobni shadow qilasizlar. All right?
Okay.
Boyagi o'g'il bola gapirdi, o'sha ikkovlariga ham tegishli. Shadow for girl and boys. Agar Frida Hoffmanni shadow qilmoqchi bo'lganlar, yigitni savollarini yigitlar shadow qilishi mumkin.
Okay.
Just for speech. I also used to do it with BBC. So let's correct this sentences about Frida. Mana bu misolga birinchi savol beramiz. Misollarga. Then javob beramiz. Zarf Hombro. Has she ever crossed the Sahara Desert? You can say, yes, she has, in her early 30s.
Yeah. Yes, she has crossed it in her early 30s.
2. Aslidan? Has she ever walked the
Has she
Great Wall of
walked
China?
the Great Wall of China?
Has she?
Yes, she has.
She has in
1995.
1995. Indira?
Has she ever traveled up the Nile? Yes, she has. When she was a student.
4.
Has she worked in restaurant? Yes. After left university, she worked at restaurant.
When she left university, she worked in a restaurant. Nice. Good try. And let's talk about you guys. Demak, hammani bitta savol so'rashga haqqi bor. You can ask anyone these questions. Have you ever? Have you ever? Let's start from Indira.
Okay. Have you ever done anything dangerous? Ozoda.
Yes, I have this situation in my bedroom.
In dreams only.
Yeah.
Everybody has. And Azoda, you start.
Have you broken your arm and your leg?
No, I have never break my arm or leg.
I have never broken my arm or leg.
Yes.
Mahlaroy.
Have you ever lost something important, Aslidan?
No, I haven't.
Aslidan.
Have you ever been to Africa? Zarif Khan.
No, I have never been to Africa. But if you have a chance, I would like to go to Africa.
If I have a chance. Good.
If I have a chance, yeah.
Now you ask from Elior or Sultan, as we have.
Okay. Have you ever been to hospital, Elior?
Yes, I have. It was last year.
Okay.
Why?
Why did you go to hospital? Yeah.
Yes. Did you go to hospital?
Coronavirus?
I had an allergy.
Allergy. Now, Elior, bro, you ask Sultan if he's not sleeping.
Have you ever written this story?
Have you ever written a story, Sultan? Have you ever written a story? Hech hikoya yozganmisiz?
Yes, I have written story 1 month ago.
Okay. What was it about? Nima haqida edi? What was it about? All right, vocabulary and pronunciation. We have last things to do. Demak, look at the Karl Marx was a philosopher, historian, and economist. If you really pay attention, bu yerdagi qo'shimchalar kasb yasaydigan qo'shimchalar. Ya'ni o'zbekchada chi, shunos. Demak, or, ist, in, ant. This makes kasb yasovchi qo'shimchalar. Photograph bularga qanaqa? Photographer.
Er.
Receptionist.
Scientist, farmer, artist,
Politician.
Musician.
Accountant.
Decorator. Actor.
Interpreter.
Interpreter.
Librarist.
No, librarian.
Librarian.
Qonacha degan kino bor edi. You can check it. Librarian. Electrician.
lawyer,
Lower bo'lganda ye orttiramiz. Bitta ye qo'shib yuboramiz, maylimi? Lawyer bo'ladi shunda. Qo'shimchalar, suffikslar. Gap oxirida qo'shiladi. Bu suffikslar bir so'z asosdan yangi so'z yasaydi. Demak, ot yasovchi qo'shimchalar: shin, jin, ment, nis, ens, ans, liti, iliti. Va adjective sifat yasovchi qo'shimchalar: ye, li, aus, full, less and al. Demak, mana shular doim gapda ma'nosini bilmasligimiz mumkin, lekin otmi sifatmi o'shani bilib olsak, gapni ancha ma'nosini tushunib olishimiz mumkin. Especially IELTS readingda. Bizga so'zni ma'nosidan ko'ra uni ot sifatligi muhim. For example, compete. Competition.
Explanation.
Behavior. Fe'l bo'lsa-chi?
The same.
Behave.
He behaved badly.
invitation,
Visit or
Visitation.
student.
Student.
Study. Yeah, study student. Decide.
Decision.
Discussion.
Discuss.
Employment.
Employer.
Also, but lekin tepadagi bo'ladi. Kasbga. Employer. Lekin bu yerda employment nima edi? Ish berishmi?
Employer.
Bilan bandlik. Employment. For example, employment rate is very low in Uzbekistan. No, it's very high. Inherit.
No.
Inheritance.
The same.
Inheritance. Meros. Collection.
Collect.
Fame.
Famous.
Different. Differ. Noun bo'lyapti. Oh, difference. Noun bizga ot keldi. Critical situation. Ambitious. Noun.
Ambition.
successful,
Helpful.
Helpful.
Kind.
Kindness.
Friends.
Friendly.
Perfect. Danger.
Dangerous. Healthy.
responsibility,
Agar mas'uliyatsiz bo'lsa-chi?
Irresponsibility.
Mas'uliyatsizlik, irresponsibility, mas'uliyatsiz, irresponsible. Perfect. And that's the last thing to do. Listen and repeat the words. Where is the stress?
Tape script 7.7.
No, 9.
Tape script 7.9. Word stress. Two-syllabled nouns and adjectives. Nouns.
Danger. Kindness. Critic. Artist. Difference.
Adjectives.
Dangerous. Healthy. Friendly. Famous. Different.
Two-syllabled verbs.
Invite. Explain. Discuss. Employ. Decide. Compete.
Nouns ending in shun.
Demek e'tibor bergan bo'lsalaring, nouns and adjectives with ikki bo'g'inlilarda boshiga tushyapti. Danger, kindness. Ikki bo'g'inli fe'llarda esa oxirida invite, explain. Endi qaraylikchi. Nouns shin va jinda qayerga tushadi urg'u?
Invitation. Explanation. Competition. Ambition. Decision.
So, urg'u qayerda? O'rtada. Invitation, explanation. Shindan oldingi unli urg'uni olyapti. All right, that's the end of our lesson. So we've done so far until reading. And the next lesson, we're going to deal with history, reading.
Okay.
You can just check it before you enter the lesson so that it will be easy when we start reading tomorrow. And yangilar uchun darsimiz doim 2 ga bo'linadi, readinggacha va readingdan keyin. Hozir readinggacha tugadi, demak workbookni ham readinggacha bajaramiz. Unit 7 readinggacha, listening, everything should be done. And javoblari kitobni orqasida, workbookni orqasida. And videoni tomosha qilasizlar, agar esimdan chiqsa tashlashni eslatinglar. O'zim tashlayman. Yoki YouTubedan ham qarasalaring bo'ladi. New Headway Pre-Intermediate Unit 7 video desalang chiqib qo'yadi.
Okay.
And then what else? Shadowing jo'natildi. That's all. Keyin testlarni tekshirib javoblarni aytaman. 100 dan qancha olasizlar. Faqat speakingni jo'natgandan keyin.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. It was great to have you.
Thank
See you next time.
Have a good
See you in the next lesson.
Have a good day.